we had like the choir, but then we had the quartet singing other parts too, like against the choir. So I was a soprano, then we had the second soprano, then we had the alto, and then we had Shirley singing tenor. And it was really cool. It's just neat to hear that. It's just different. In fact, in the Carnegie choir last time, I'll tell you later.
Heavy.
Julian's waltz right now, which is all in French, and it has like 6 or 7 runs like that. It's hard.
Well, welcome everybody to Breakfast with the Bible. Of course, I'm Steve Bushnell, the Bible Chef. Welcome you. As you can see, the way I started it, today we have a special guest, Rebecca McKinley. Come on up, Rebecca. Have you ever seen my ministry or know anything about it?
I've seen some videos.
You've seen some videos? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
On the internet? On the internet. Okay. So what I do with the class is very simple. I teach the Bible. I teach Scripture from an expository perspective. What's an expository perspective? Class. An expository perspective means that we go right after the details. We go right down to the basics of the Scripture. We go back to the Hebrew and try to find out that exact meaning of what God was trying to convey to his people. And so that can seem a little dull sometimes because you go back to the Hebrew, you're going back thousands of years, and so one of the things I try to do is bring things into it that people can relate to, you know? And so one of the things that everybody can relate to is food. Enthusiastic group, food, all right, food. They come in here with food already. So one of the foods that I try to focus on are the Jewish foods, like chocolate. Chocolate. We all know that the Hebrew people had chocolate in Israel, right? No. We're in chocolate. We're
They had carob, didn't they?
well, the chocolate that we know of, the chocolate that we're familiar with, the cocoa, that has its origins in South America. So how does this connect? It connects by where we are right now in Isaiah. The Hebrew people got dispersed, didn't they? Got dispersed by the Assyrians and the Babylonians. And they're dispersed all over the place, and so you got to start figuring out a way to make a living. And the traders, the trade routes were coming by, some of them, and guess where some of them were carrying with them? Chocolate from South America. I said, "Hey Rabbi, is this kosher?" Rabbi said, "It's kosher." And so they started using it in their recipes, and they became chocolatiers even. And so it got incorporated into their food. So we can say this ingredients in here is kosher. So the chocolate's kosher, but could we eat this during Passover?
No.
Why?
It's not kosher.
Well, what's in it that makes it not kosher?
Chocolate.
Well, no, the chocolate is kosher, but the leavening in it to make it rise. Okay. But it's not complete the way it is. I'll bet you at home, you help your mom cook all the time, don't you? One of the nice things about cooking is finishing it off. What I'm going to do, I'm going to sprinkle some powdered sugar on it. As much as you want. Because you see those young boys over there, they're going to be our critics when they come over and taste this. You know how young boys are. They love the sweets. So in this particular brownie, we've got not only chocolate, but we've got chocolate chips, and now we've got some sugar on it. She sprinkled some sugar on it, and we're going to drizzle some caramel on it. Hopefully, maybe. That's sticky, isn't it? I don't think we're drizzling too well. Good thing I got a knife.
Maybe if it was warmed up in the microwave or something.
Yeah. I think it needs more. It was warmed up, and I think it needs more. We'll persuade it a little bit here.
So much for my nice little sprinkles.
Yeah, that kind of. I think it's going to taste okay, though. What do you think?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you know. You don't really look at the peanut butter and jelly so much as long as it gets on there. Okay, now I understand that you actually attended Juilliard. Is that correct?
I didn't actually attend classes actually being enrolled in it,
Mm-hmm.
but I had the opportunity to join an honors choir, a high school honors choir with students from all over the United States, and there are some people even from Canada who were there to sing at Carnegie Hall in New York, and they had representatives from schools like Juilliard. And one of the things we got to do was tour Juilliard. The representatives wanted all these singers and music students to tour the school and see if it's something that they want to do. So that was kind of cool, being able to walk around on the campus. It's a really nice place.
Is that your first time at Juilliard? Or in,
Yeah.
in New York?
Yeah, very first time in New York. That was not this summer, but the summer before. I also went again, not to Juilliard, to Carnegie in February. And I'll be going again this February. So, exciting, yeah.
Now, is that with that group all the time?
Yeah, it's a special group. But I will be going to New York in April with the high school group, because the choir director had a music student who is now a big conductor in New York. And he invited the Grande High School choir to sing at Avery Fisher Hall in the Lincoln Center. So we're going to be singing Schubert Mass in G. So a big 40-minute piece. It's exciting. Lots of fundraising. $2,000 per trip. So I have a job and doing different things like, well, I sang on the radio at 6:30 in the morning. Got up at 4:30. Left the high school parking lot at 5:30 to go to St. Louis to sing. But you know, it's all good. It's exciting.
Now this is Carnegie Hall in New York. And this is one of the most famous places in the world for music. You know, you've probably heard the joke, how do you get to Carnegie Hall?
Practice.
Practice, practice, practice.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the joke.
It's really pretty.
It's really pretty. And where were you when you were standing in the group there? Right in the middle there?
Well, this isn't the group. They have 3 different groups. They have a band, they have an orchestra, and they have a choir. I believe this is for the, I'm not sure. It's either the band or the orchestra. I think it's the orchestra because I can see the cello over there. But when the choir was up here, I was about right here. And the last time I was kind of in the same spot too.
So you sang with a group then?
Mm-hmm. Big group, yeah.
Big group. Okay.
About
okay.
150 to 200 of us.
Okay. All right.
So, still an honor to be chosen out of all those people.
It was.
So, it's exciting. The music was great too, and the director was absolutely amazing. You could totally tell that he was filled with the Spirit. It was so cool. He'd be like, some people would, see if I can quote him. He says, some people say that we just have these talents and we can do, you know, we can do this if we just practice. But I believe that our talents come from God. And he says, well, it's a little politically incorrect, you know. But he just started going into all this stuff, and he even taught us how to shake hands right and give hugs. So it wasn't just the singing; it was just a whole experience. It was really cool.
So it sounds like you've kind of lived this perfect life, that nothing's ever bad ever happened to you. Is that right?
No.
Something about Turner syndrome, huh?
Yeah, I have Turner syndrome. Do you guys know what it is at all?
We lost a granddaughter with Turner.
There you go. It's a chromosome disorder, kind of like Down syndrome, but it doesn't affect you as much mentally as Down syndrome does. Although there are some people who are affected, but then there are other girls who are really, really smart. It's hard to explain. It just has to do with the X's. I've gone to several camps and met some really, really good friends. It's so cool when you can get people from all over who share the same sort of stuff and gone through the same sort of things and spend a week with them at Pepperdine, you know, pretty cool. So you can ask them, hey, when were you diagnosed and what have been some of your problems? And you hear everything from, you know, I had open heart surgery when I was born, or I'm probably going to go deaf before I'm 30, or I've had, 10 surgeries on my ears, or, I'm not going to make it past 5 foot, stuff like that, or I have a hard time learning. So you hear all these different things, and not everyone has the same stuff. So it's a challenge, but it's kind of cool being encouraged by other people who have it, because you're not the only one out there.
So yours with your growth, pretty much, wasn't it?
With my growth, my bones too, they're a lot weaker than normal. I had Leg-Calf-Perthes because of it, which is where the blood gets cut off from the head of the femur. So they had to go in and do a full big trochanter transfer thing when I was in 6th grade. And then I had a freak accident, and I had to have several operations on my knee to fix it. So that was fun. And then they're monitoring my heart. I have to go in for MRIs every now and again, just so they can make sure that it's working right, because I have 3 valves that are fused together into 2 instead of 3. It's not that big of a deal. I could still do cardio stuff like working out, and I can stand for long periods of time, but it's just something I need to watch.
You know, when you look at somebody that has gifts and then you look at disabilities, how does that affect your relationship with God? And you said you're a Christian, right? How does that affect your relationship with God?
Wow, it's definitely a little bit of it can be a little bit discouraging when you see what other people are doing, but for me it's the sort of thing is I have to turn to God more, because without that I'll get kind of depressed, because I see these dancers that can go around and do the splits and do all this crazy stuff, and I know I'm not going to be able to do that. There's just no way. So it's just, you just have to lean on Him more when you're dealing with that. Like this past week, I've been kind of feeling a little bit, I don't want to say depressed, but a little bit discouraged. So it's just one of those things that you have to keep staying in the Word and have those Bible verses that you know ready.
You know, God has a plan for our lives, and sometimes it's so hard to see it, you know, through adversity. You know, all of us, we were just talking about before the class started, all the different things that goes on in our lives, and as we get older, things don't work as well as they should, and you know, you want the physicians to repair them, and it seems like sometimes when they repair them, they leave you with 3 other things that aren't working so well now, and you kind of feel like you're, you know, fighting this battle. But you know, it's very inspiring when you see somebody like you that's overcome a lot of stuff and can hold on to that concept that God has something special planned for you, and you're able to glorify Him the way you do.
Yeah.
And are you able to share any of that type of witness with any of the other children? Any other people that have that disability, or those that don't?
Well, with people who have it, I've got a really good friend. She lives down, further down south by Disneyland. She wasn't the same person. She's not the same person I knew when I first met her at the camp, because she's had so much stuff, you know, family stuff and all that stuff. She was she had a little bit of a rough edge to her at first. She's still like really nice, but man, since she got involved in church and since I know her more, she's really not the same. She's not as rough. And she's actually, she's a really good friend. And then for other people like the choir, high school students don't really understand, a lot of them don't understand about medical stuff. The most they've had is maybe a sprained ankle or something from running. So when I start chatting with people in the choir and I tell them, yeah, I've had this, and this, they're just like, wow, when you're here doing this and you did all this other stuff beforehand, the drama class, and you're still up and about and not being discouraged. So it's just kind of cool.
It's that inner light, inner peace, that God gives you. We've talked about that in this class many times about politically correct agenda of schools and people, that they want to eliminate all of that, you know, that it's just Darwinism, it's just random chemicals, you're just an accident in nature. And that not only just takes away the basic arguments that a lot of people have, but it takes away from a person's general purpose in life. And when you take that away from somebody, they have a huge vacuum there. And even if you don't have any disabilities, you have that vacuum, the desire to know, where do I fit into everything? And it's really sad to see so many secular schools take that away from people. And these some of these professors argue to take that away from people when they should be just doing the opposite. They're trying to prepare people for life. You need to give them the skills, the tools to prepare them for life. You need to have that place in your heart filled with love and solid purpose, and then go out there and then someone says, let's train you. Let's see where your talents are. Let's see where your interests are, and let's mold you in that direction and help you to fulfill God's purpose for your life and be a contributing person to our society.
Yeah, instead of like standardized testing,
Mm-hmm.
SATs, people study, they get packets, and it's like you just don't have that opportunity to really grow into more things, because everyone is being pushed to meet this particular standard.
And I understand that you are, you said you were employed, you were doing little jobs, but I also understand that you are working as a opera singer in some small theater.
It's not small, it's,
Okay.
it's the San Luis Obispo Opera.
Okay.
It's called Oslo Opera San
Okay.
Luis Obispo.
Yeah, it's
Used
not
to be-
small. Yeah.
Used to be Pro Pacific Opera.
And I understand that you are the youngest person to ever be hired there as a professional singer.
I think
Correct?
so, for the most
I
part.
think that's what your mother told me.
I haven't actually sang there for about a year. It was last November was the last time I performed, because they did the Barber of Seville, which they don't have any girls' parts in there other than like stand-ins, supernumeraries. And then this last one, they had such a small chorus, they only had like 3 sopranos out of normal 7 or 8 that we had. So, but I did get an email from the new director, because they've had all these different changes going on. She would like me to be part of the next one, so that'll be happening next semester too, as well as both of these trips to New York. So,
How old are you?
me, I just turned 18.
You're a marvelous young woman.
And what would you like to do, and what were the things that you'd like to aspire towards in your life?
Right now everything's up in the air, like when it comes to schools,
Mm-hmm.
because music is really fun, singing is really fun, but there are so many singers out there that I'm thinking I should probably do something like maybe speech pathology or stuff like that, because it pays really well, but if I go to a school that has that, they're going to have a good music program anyway, so I can still sing. Because it is really fascinating, all the cartilages and muscles that you have, and all the different things that can affect it, like whether your knees are locked, I'm not locked right now, or whether you're anchored back here with your rib cage and your back and your neck. Whether you're twanging a little bit, you can probably hear me now that I'm twanging. But, all these different things. So you're tilting your thyroid cartilage. It's just cool. It's cool to think about that. And all the different sounds you can make, the diphthongs, and whether you have when you're not making a sound, or the you're not making a sound, versus the where you're making a sound. You don't really realize that when you're saying the letters of the alphabet. But they're just different things where you place your tongue. It's just cool. Some of these.
How did you get into music? Was it just something you just started singing around the house, and you just kind of gravitated towards the opera music?
I've always sang, but I officially started singing when I was in about 4th or 5th grade with the Central Coast Children's Choir, and that was really cool because we had all these different really good singers who came in, kid singers who came in, and the concerts were amazing, all the songs they did, and the directors are wonderful. And through that, I had the chance to do several performances with the opera. Like, I was one of the kids in Carmen back in 7th or 8th grade. And I was a gingerbread kid and an angel in Hansel and Gretel. So through that, I met my current voice coach, who wouldn't even take me until I was a little bit older because she's that intense. She's like, I don't know if I want to start someone who's 12 or 13. I want to wait for me 14 or 15 just to be safe. So through that, I did several other things, like some community theater shows, and I decided to go into the Napoma High School drama class, which was really, it was a good experience, but at the same time it was really stressful. And I just had to get out of it after 2 years, and I lettered in it, and I did every show except 2. And I got out of it, and I came to AG, which is a school I was supposed to go to in the first place. And from there, I'm doing the choir, and I continued through all this to be a part of the opera. My voice coach has had different opportunities for me to do different things, like Christmas caroling and stuff like that, and of course these trips to New York.
What's your favorite type of music? Is it opera
Favorite?
or is it?
Vocally, for me to sing opera, because it's easier for me than like belting out, alphabet stuff from Defying Gravity. I mean, like Defying Gravity from Wicked, because that's musical theater versus opera. I love listening to musical theater and singing along to it, but as far as being easy to sing and my comfort range, what you just heard, Poor Wandering One, is more comfortable for me.
And the theater, so the difference, I don't know if everybody knows the difference between like a musical
And an opera?
and an opera and all these different categories of singing and...
Well, I can tell you the difference between the opera and the musical theater. An opera, everything is sung. That's why Les Mis, you kind of think, are you guys familiar with Les Mis? It's all singing, but it's almost like musical theater as well. But I think I'm not sure if it's counted as an opera or not, because it does have one speaking line in it, like one line. Anyway, so that's the difference. The opera is all singing. Musical theater, the characters act and they do all this stuff. They get so excited or so sad or so angry that they have to burst into song. So that's what's different. The opera, people are singing this whole stuff, and they just talk like this the whole time, everybody. But that was the same note. Anyway, musical theater is more like talking and then saying, oh, I can't take this anymore. This is so great. I'm going to sing. So that's basically the difference.
Okay. Do you have a favorite composer?
I really like Alan Menken. I don't know if you know who that is. He wrote the music for like Aladdin and Tangled and
Now those are not operas, though, are they?
No, those are more Disney musical theater things.
Yeah.
But he also wrote the music for the Sister Act that's now in New York. He wrote all this new music for it. So it's exciting. Of course, Angela Weber's really good too.
Well, Rogers and Hammerstein does it, some of that stuff.
Yeah, that's good too. There's so many. When you ask
Now
me that,
you
I'm
actually,
like, oh.
when you talk about Andrew Lloyd Webber, that's Phantom of the Opera, isn't it? And you actually sang in, where was it, Vegas?
It was a Best of Vegas show, but it was a really short thing, and I was a freshman, and look back at the tape now, and I'm like, I could have done it so much better. But it was a cool experience. Christine is one of my all-time favorite parts to play. Her music is so pretty. It's just amazing.
And you sang a part with the Phantom, didn't you? Which part was that?
The song, The Phantom of the Opera.
There you go. All right. I should have known that.
So, we had a little boat and everything. It was kind of a weird setup. Because pulling the boat and all these people under the waves, pushing the waves on. Not the same as the Broadway show at all. So much cooler with the candles coming out of the stage.
Now, is there any composers' music that you try to stay away from?
Um,
Like Mozart or somebody like that?
It's kind of funny. There's a saying about Mozart. It's, if people knew how dirty and controversial some of the stuff was that Mozart did, they'd either flock to it or run away from it. But a lot of Mozart stuff is really, really fun to sing. I sang several Mozart duets. I sang one with my friend Liz Solaria from The Marriage of Figaro, and then I sang one with a friend of mine, Rochelle, and that was from Così fan tutti. It was Fiordalici and Dorabella's song. So they're deciding they're going to go to this party, and they're going to, well, their fiancés are away, and the fiancés were actually disguised at the party because it was a trick, and they wanted to see him. They wanted to see if they'd be faithful to him. And it was just really funny because they ended up choosing their fiancés anyway. And so it's just silly.
So if you were to sing a song, if you were to sing an opera like that, you'd have to learn a little bit of the language. Like, see, I think that's in Italian, isn't it?
It's in Italian. Both of them are in Italian.
Yeah. At least.
I basically have to learn the songs, and I work with my voice coach, and I use the Google Translate to learn how to say the words. And of course I learn what they mean too, so it actually makes sense. But I can't fluently speak the language at all.
I was thinking of one of my favorite is not Mozart, is Beethoven's Ninth. Do you ever perform in any chorals like that?
I haven't. Well, one of the things we sang at Carnegie was a Beethoven piece.
Okay.
But I haven't done anything else with Beethoven. I've done one Mozart and Beethoven.
Okay.
But they're both wonderful composers.
Oh, yeah. So I kind of lean towards Beethoven myself. You know, I think it's that underlying tension coming out to be glorious, where the Mozart almost seems kind of playful. Yeah. There's a few of his stuff that isn't, but most of it seems almost childlike and playful and fun, which is okay. But to me, when it kind of seems like he's taking that serious tension in life and then changing it, and it goes through a metamorphosis, and then it turns into this beautiful thing, kind of like a butterfly at the end.
So pretty to sing.
Yeah.
I sang two different Beethoven songs, one with the school choir and one with the Carnegie choir. I believe the one with the Carnegie choir was the Mount of Olives, and it was really, really cool. It was like, I don't know the right pitch, I haven't sang it in over a year and a half, but it was like, Alleluia, 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 unto God's almighty Son. It was just amazing with all that stuff, and with all the sopranos and the altos and the harmonies. It was like, wow. The ending was amazing. It just kept climbing, like you said.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
That's a neat thing about some of that classic music. I mean, it just feels like it just touches your soul. Just knows right where to go. And a composer like that, they've been there before, so they know right where to touch, and that's great. That's a neat thing about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how about if I open it up? Anybody have any questions? Anything in particular that's crossed your mind about Rebecca?
What's your favorite song in Phantom of the Opera? Like Music of the Night, or?
Oh boy, I love all of them.
Yeah, there's so many of them.
There's so many, and they kind of, I don't know. It's just I've seen the show in New York, Las Vegas, and LA, so I'm like a huge fan. I really like the Angel of Music song, as well as the tension in the Past the Point of No Return, because you have the policeman waiting in the wings, right, and she has to take off the mask to try and show them that it's him, and just amazing. And of course, all the singing in that last part, the very, very last scene, the conflict between the Phantom and Ra is really, really cool.
Anything else? All right. Yeah.
I would hate to see you become a speech pathologist when you have such incredible talent at a young age and a beautiful, incredible voice, and you're just glowing. And I know that's a way of making a living, but I'd give that some more thought if I were you.
That's what Jackie said.
Holly, seriously.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unhappy people out there that are doing jobs that they took because not because it was their natural talent, but because they could make money doing them. And they get sick sometimes just as a result of doing something other than their natural talents, and they have to cut off. I might be one of them. That's why I can speak on this. You have to cut off your natural talents to do some other type of job, and then
Yeah.
God gave you this great. Everybody doesn't walk around like a voice like you have, and God gave you that. And I know speech pathologist is a marvel. It's a great profession for some people. And, I'm not putting that down, but you have something really special there. I just needed to say that.
Well, I think in summary, it's just basically pursue your heart and the rest will follow.
Yeah, that's it. Pursue your heart, and you've been doing that.
My voice coach mentioned that too. She's like, if you ever stop singing, you would be depressed, is what she said. She says, don't stop singing, even if you go into that continually with choirs and those solo things.
I think, so many people, and even myself, during our life's journey, we try to find that thing, that talent that God gave us. What is that special gift that God gave me, or gifts? And then so I know that I'm halfway there, because then all I have to do is apply it. But I think in her case, God's already shown her real early on. It's like, hello, here it is, right here. There's an elephant in the living room. You can't miss this one.
It's nice having that too in the midst of all this, of all this stuff, the medical stuff.
Yeah.
I still have to do blood work, and I was able to stop the shots. I used to have to get growth hormone shots every night. I had them since I was 7. They weren't big. They were little, and how do you call them? Endoscopy, I guess, because they were, they just went into the skin. They weren't like really deep. And that was, yeah, thank you. That I think. And it wasn't a big of a deal because I would get bruises and stuff. I didn't have to go so much. But thankfully, my freshman year was when I was able to stop. They said, these aren't going to do any more for you. This is how much you needed. Because basically my body didn't make enough growth hormone. That's what happened. So I would have been short and all this other stuff without the medicine. So, and that's what my friend down south has too. She recently stopped hers as well.
Okay.
I'm so glad you came today. You're such an inspiration. I'm so happy I got to hear you, and I really hope that you can continue with your music, because I agree with her. If that's a God-given thing that the rest of us can just dream about having, but we don't have it, so.
I can't even sing in the choir.
Do you have like a website or anything?
A website?
Yeah, where people can follow what you're doing and
Facebook.
Facebook.
But I don't usually post a lot of stuff on Facebook about like what I'm doing. I like to just put Bible verse quotes or musical theater quotes or something like that.
Yeah.
Or fun pictures, because it gets so annoying when people put all these really sad things on Facebook. They're like, I hate my life, and yada yada yada. And you're like, oh, that's depressing.
Yeah, I've seen, sometimes people can be, unfairly and unjustly critical too. And so you have to kind of be careful what you put out there. It can be, it can also be abused too. People can connect to it and put other stuff to it. So you just have to be careful with it. I one time put on my website, I put a kind of place where people could sign in and just say that they were there. And somebody hooked it up, put a link inside of that, and sent it over to a gambling website. So, you just have to, you just have to be careful of that kind of stuff. And I'm sure there's a lot of of worse things that they can do
Yeah.
as well. But
Another thing for that is sometimes bosses or, you know, employers will, or just anyone important will look at your Facebook and they will see what you said and what you've done. So if you know, said, oh, I just, you know, robbed a store, or you throw like the F-bomb around, they're going to be like, that's not the type of person that I want to hire or that I want to be around. So even if you have friends who talk like that, sometimes they might see that on your wall, someone writes on your wall. So if someone ever does that to me, I just delete. I'll just delete it. You know, just because it's like, you don't need to do that. But that's another thing you have to be careful of online.
it's a two-sided sword there.
Does anyone have ever encouraged you in terms of some of the modern medical breakthroughs in DNA and stem cell research?
I actually have a whole little society on Facebook, Turner's Society on Facebook. So all these Turner's women who had all this stuff have a page, and we can write stuff like, you know, I'm having trouble with this, or, you know, my daughter has TS and she's having trouble with this. What should I do? Or does anyone else have a similar problem? Is it linked to TS? And the creator of the page, Kim, she will post stuff like that, articles about new research that's being done for TS. I haven't got around to reading a lot of them, but I do glance over them sometimes if they're really interesting, or watch videos they post on there. It's fascinating how much they've come from, you know, maybe 20 years ago.
Yeah, every day they're coming up with stuff.
They're trying to diagnose it faster. Because some girls are diagnosed immediately in the womb. Others, like me, I was 6 or 7 before I was diagnosed. It was so small. The only reason why the doctor noticed it was because he had a family member or a friend who had the same sort of thing. I had a daughter who had the same sort of thing. And he said, I want to test her for that. And so I got tested, and it turned out I had it.
But it's my understanding now that everything is pretty much under control with
yeah,
yours, right? Yeah.
Everything's-
And you don't have to have any more surgeries, and you don't have to have at least as much growth hormone, or
No, I'm on just this special medication that I take.
Okay.
It's just a little, you know, just a little pill now, no shots.
okay,
Which is
so
good.
that's good. So that's good. That's hopeful right there. And so, do you have anything, any upcoming activities or concerts or anything that you're going to be doing that you'd like to tell people about? I know you're going to go back to New York, but is there any?
Here this semester.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Well, the choir's having a performance on the 18th, a school choir, and the Christmas carolers I was talking about, my voice coach puts together, is singing in the same concert. So I'm hoping I can do both, but I'm not going to be in the choir. I'm not going to stand in the choir with a big old Victorian hoop skirt, little hat. That'd be a little. I don't know. So we'll just see. We'll just see about that and working around.
Well, you know, there's a show on television that I don't watch, but my wife watches, and that's America's Got Talent. And I heard them complaining that, you know, they don't have any contestants. Well,
Yeah.
I know somebody that's got talent, you know. So, anyways, all right. Well, what I'd like to do at this point is, if you don't have any more questions, I'd like to close in prayer, and then we can have a little bit of that brownie back there. Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for this day. I want to thank you for the blessing of everyone here, especially Rebecca. And she's such an inspiration to all of us, Lord. You truly shows that you know, you look over all of us. You've got a plan for all of us, that you love all of us, and that we can glorify you in so many different ways. It's such a blessing to hear her sing, and the gift that you have bestowed upon her. And I ask, Lord, that you give insight to the rest of us, so that we may see those gifts that you have given us, and that we may work towards bringing them out and glorifying you in the same way. I also ask, Lord, for journey mercies as Rebecca travels around and goes to these various places, and that you take her there and bring her home safely so she may continue to be a wonderful inspiration. And I want to ask this in Christ's name. Amen. Thank you, everyone.
How's baby? Mama. How about Papa? He's tired, huh? 10, 2, and 4.
Oh, you know.
Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Thank you. Let's try not to go off on tangents.
That
There's so much to
wasn't
talk.
too hard, was it?
No.
Yeah.
She got to be, like she's sideways or whatever. She got to hold.